14.4 has to do with the volume now of cones and pyramids. Okay? So, we all know what a cone is, I hope. Okay, it's like an ice cream cone. Okay, the base is a circle, always, for a cone. So this says, find the volume of a right circular cone. When they say that, right circular cone, what that means is the cone is standing straight up and down. Okay? It's not leaning to one side or the other. You don't have to worry about the right part. The fact that it's a cone, I like the fact that it says a right circular cone, like there's any other cone. Cones have a base that's a circle. Of course it's a circular cone. Anyway, has a height of 7.6 and a base with a radius of 11.1. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So, again, we know multiply by pi. So here's our formula. It's the same as a cylinder, except now you're just taking that number and you're dividing by 3. Okay? So, pi times radius, which is 11.1 squared, times the height, which is 7.6, all divided by 3. Okay, so pi times 11.1 squared times 7.6 divided by 3. Nearest tenth, okay? So 980.59. Well, what does the 9 do? Well, it rounds 5 up to 6 inches cubed because it's volume. Okay? So it's just plug and chug. All right? Now, same problem. The only difference is, so here's your height. Now it says the diameter is 5.4. Now again, like I said in the last section, okay, if you guys are just skimming these problems, you're just going to put in 5.4, and you can't do that, okay? Again, nearest tenth. So the diameter is 2 times the radius. The diameter is 5.4, so we just take half of that. So the radius is 2.7. Okay? Height, 7.4. All right, so pi times 2.7 squared times 7.4 divided by 3. So I get 56.49. The 9 rounds 4 to 5 inches cubed. All right, so just be careful. Pay close attention. Now, it says find the volume of the cone. So we're okay there. But here's the thing. Here's your height. So that's fine. Now it says the base has a circumference of 18.5. Nearest tenth. Well, let's see. My cone formula needs the radius. So if they give me the circumference, how's that going to work? Well, let's see. What's the formula for circumference? We got to go back to the beginning of chapter 12. 2 pi r. Well, there's r. There's our radius. Okay. The circumference is 18.5. Okay. Well, to find r, I have to divide by 2 pi. Okay. Now, in your yellow calculator or Desmos, just make a fraction. Okay, make a fraction. Control divide gets you the fraction. 18.5 on top, tab to the bottom, and you're going to put in 2 pi. So 18.5 divided by 2 pi. And you get 2.9. It's 2.94, but we'll just round to the nearest 10. So the radius is 2.9. So we plug that in. So pi times 2.9 squared times 12.2 divided by 3. So I get 107.44. That second 4 doesn't do anything for us, so it's 107.4 centimeters cubed. Okay? So again, just pay attention to the problem. Okay? Now, they give us a picture. Okay. 6 is the radius, 16 is the height. So volume pi times 6 squared times 16 divided by 3. But here's the catch. In terms of pi. So, I'm only doing 6 squared times 16 divided by 3. That's it. So 6 squared times 16 divided by 3. Okay, so that gives me 192. So I come over here, 192, and then pi just comes down here. That's our answer. Okay, so again, be careful. Read the problem. Okay. Now it says the volume of the right cone is 80 pi units cubed. Find the value of x. Well, here's x. So x is the radius. 15 is my height. So volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. Well, the volume is 80 pi equals pi r squared times the height, which is 15. By the way, I shouldn't use r. The radius is x over 3. Okay, now, little trick of the trade here, because we're solving for x. Notice how pi, x squared, and 15 are all being multiplied together. What I can do is I can do 15 divided by 3. I can do that separately. So now I have 80 pi equals, now 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I have 5 pi times x squared. Okay, I just rearranged the terms a little bit. Okay, now I got to get x squared by itself. So I divide both sides by 5 pi. So the 5 pi's cancel. I've got x squared. Pi's cancel out. 80 divided by 5 is 16. Well, I've got x squared, so I have to take the square root of both sides. Well, the square root of 16 is 4. And there's our answer. Okay? All right, pyramid. Volume of a pyramid with a square base. Okay, it says the area of the base is 6.5. The height is 8.6. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, so area of the base is 6.5. So B is 6.5, capital B. And then H is 8.6. So I have 6.5 times 8.6 divided by 3. 6.5 times 8.6 divided by 3. Okay, round to the nearest tenth. So I get 18.63. What does 3 do? Nothing. So it's 18.6 meters cubed. Okay? So basically the formula is the same as cylinder, except the shape of the base of a pyramid could be square, rectangle, whatever. For a cone, we know the base is always a circle. That's why we use pi r squared in there. Okay, another pyramid. Find the volume. Square base. Now it says the perimeter of the base is 8.7 and the height of the pyramid is 9.2. Nearest tenth. So volume equals area of the base. Hang on. Area of the base times the height divided by 3. Well, the height is 9.2. That's fine. But they gave me the perimeter. Well, perimeter doesn't really help me because perimeter is the distance around the square. It's not the area. Well, it's a square base. So let me see here. That's my base. It's a square. All 4 sides are the same. And 4 right angles. Okay. It says the perimeter is 8.7. Now, let me just say one of the sides was x, okay? Because I don't know the length of a side. However, it's a square. So they're all x. So, to find one side, I would just do 8.7 divided by 4. Because there's 4 sides, but they're all the same length. So 8.7 divided by 4 is 2.175. So, now, here's the thing. We still need to find the area. We need to find capital B. Okay? Now, to find the area of a square, area is basically of a square is the length of a side squared. So if I do 2.175 squared, let's see. If I square that, oh my goodness, that's crazy. All right, so I get 4.730625. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, well, this is what we have to do, so let's change this because we're going to need a little bit more room. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Mr. Habit, why don't you just round that decimal? Well, you can't round. Well, you can. But in Delta Math, they don't want you to round until you get your final answer. So, B is 4.730625. We got to write that whole thing. And then our height is 9.2. All right, well, that's what it says. Times 9.2 divided by 3. Okay, so nearest tenth, I get 14.50. Well, 0 doesn't do anything, so 14.5 feet cubed. That perimeter could have been a little bit better number for us, I think. But that's the process. Just forget the decimal crap and all that, but just focus on the process, okay? If they give you a square base and they give you the perimeter, okay, you got to go through these steps to get the area of the base, okay? Hopefully the decimals won't be as ugly as they just were. All right, find the volume of a pyramid with a square base. Same thing. Side length is 16.1, height 10. Okay, this isn't as bad. I'll show you why. So our height's 10. That's fine. Now, they give us a side length of the base. It's a square base. So 16.1 is one of the sides. Well, the area of a square is the length of a side squared. So 16.1 squared. Okay, so I get 259.21. Okay, that's not nearly as bad as the last problem. So, multiply that by 10, divide by 3, and I get 864.03. 3 does nothing. So you could write 864.0, but you don't have to, because it's 0.0. You can just say 864. Okay? All right. Now, they give us a picture. Okay. Doesn't change anything. It's a rectangular pyramid. So the area of the base is length times width. So it's 14 times 9. Okay, 14 times 9 is 126. So 126 goes in for capital B. There's my height. Okay. So I put that all in the calculator, and I get 672. Okay. Same type of problem, plug and chug. They just drew they gave us a picture instead of just saying it in words. Okay. Same thing. Now it's a triangular pyramid. So volume, this time, okay, here's our height. Okay, now our base is a triangle. And not only is it a triangle, it's a right triangle. So the area of the base is 1/2 times base times height, because that's the area of a triangle. So 1/2 times 8 times 11. Well, that's 44. Okay, so 44 times 10 divided by 3. And I get 146.66. So the second 6 bumps the first 6 up to 7. There's my volume. Okay. Last one. Now we have to solve for x. It's a rectangular pyramid. Okay. The volume is 480. There's the height of the prism. So volume, area of the base times height divided by 3. So the volume is 480. Okay. Capital B times 15 divided by 3. Well, I can simplify this. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 5b, divide by 5. I get 96. Now, here's the thing. They didn't ask us for the area of the base. They said find the value of x. Well, here's x. It's a rectangular pyramid. So, length times width, it's a rectangle. Well, the area of the base is 96. The length is x, and the width is 6. So if I divide by 6, x is 16. So there's a lot of different problems that we're going to do involving volume, okay? Super long video, probably the longest of the year. I apologize, but there's a ton of examples I wanted you to see so that when you work on the problems in class, you have everything at your disposal.